Thank you again for showing us your beautiful film. I was hoping we could start off with you talking a little bit about the location of the Hogar that you use as the set, and also how that plays in with the research that you did to create this story and where the inspiration was from.
I did a lot of work in real Hogar. I worked in 3 Hogar. This is not our Hogar where I worked, but I really wanted a place that, because the other were really full, we couldn't shoot inside. This had this fantastic. It was enormous, and there was a part that's not used, so we could use it. And I really wanted a religious Hogar because I really love this contrast that you have inside between the girls and the children, and this also a very strict place. And it was to me also, I really wanted to audiovisually underline this closed world, which is an ambiguous world, I would say, in the sense that it is a protection place but also an enclosure place. So we did a lot of research for location, and at the end this was really like, when I saw it, I said, okay, this is the place.
I was wondering, in the research, talking about the character development, I imagine that some of the characters, especially the girls, were based on, in your experience working at the 3 different places, or for 3 years, right? That were based on girls that you had met and worked with, and if there was like one specific girl that you met that inspired, like Lou, and yesterday we didn't talk at all about Fatima, who I think is such a empathetic character, or if there were more amalgamations of girls that you worked with.
They're not directly inspired. I mean, I did this long research, just taking notes, but they were more notes about, a lot of stories, a lot of life stories, but then more sensations and things. And then I just closed the door and began to write, and I wrote like really fictional characters. But then what's interesting is that when I did the casting and I met Agustina, who is Luciana, the blonde one, and she read the script. She was surprised. She asked me, "How did you know all these things about my life?" And it was very funny because I met her one day before, but in a way, and also in a tragical way, there are a lot of things that repeat, like archetypes.
Right.
Like the boy that hits you, and the mother who didn't protect you, and for example, yes, Fatima, there was a girl I met that had this abuse in her family, and had this relationship to her son that was completely ineffective. So in a way, when I wrote, it was not like thinking about someone, but I think I absorbed so much that they are really like archetypical stories.
Right. Great. Well, we'd love for your questions. If you have them, please raise your hand. Right here.
I thought it was an extraordinary film.
Thank you.
It was perfect. I am a little, the ending was very painful. So was this what was supposed to happen? She was supposed to be able to take away Nina until the hearing, or what? I mean, why was she able to take her away? Because I thought that she would have to stay, that the baby would have to stay with the nuns until the court case was decided, because she was considered an unfit mother. Who would determine? But she is the mother of this child.
Could you hear in the back? So the question is about the ending of the film, and why Lou was actually able to take Nina away with her when the nuns had clearly decided that she was an unfit mother, in spite of the fact that she is her mother.
Well, during my research, I could assist to many cases of, because when you're a teenager, and especially when you had a difficult life, for example, Agustina Lu, she is son of a teen mother. She was born in Algar. She grew up in Algar. When she went out of the Algar, she got pregnant. She got back in the Algar. So in a way, you're also talking about girls that don't have a family, like an emotional contention, say. So of course, it's very difficult when you're so young to take care and to have the responsibility of a motherhood overall if you didn't have an example. So there are a lot of cases in which they kind of doubt about their possibility of being the mother. At the same time, it's not easy, and I think it's right that it's not easy to take away a child from their biological mother. So it's really a long process. It's a long process in which there is like authorities that decide, and psychologists and social assistants that decide whether the girl is really able to be a mother. And normally they try to believe in this. It's not like common to take away. So it's normally it's a long process. And so what happened is that they say, okay, you will not stay in this Algar anymore, but they will go to in a center in which they can go for a temporary whilst this process, whilst they decide. I didn't want to close the story in terms of, okay, they're gonna be together or not, because for me the important thing was the changing inside Lu, the fact that for the first time she understands that she has to be responsible for another human being. I think Lu really loves Nina at the beginning of the story, but it's more like her sister. It's because Lu is a child herself, and so she doesn't understand. She has to take care, and I think by fearing to lose her, she understands for the first time that okay, I'm the mother. I think I look at her. It's interesting because it's your character, but at the same time you look it from outside. And I think there's a moment in which she becomes like a lion fighting for her children. So in a way, I believe she will fight for her child, and she will really have a change, which of course doesn't mean she will be the perfect mother. But I think this really changed. Something has changed inside herself, inside her.
Right here?
So Lou has changed in the story and has perhaps found a way to become a mother, and yet Paola becomes more lost. Is that right? Is that your understanding?
Yes, I think the three women at the very end, has changed a little bit by encountering and has influenced themselves and changed their relationship to maternity. Paola has felt for the first time this growing this new feeling. We don't know what she will do and if the institution will accept her, but we know that she has to front this feeling. She's not, this decision is not so clear anymore. And also Fatih has changed a little bit, because by encountering this motherly figure who is Sister Paula to her, and also by listening to this little child that tells her, we're not perfect, but it's okay. I think she kind of accepts a little more this violent motherhood. Of course, it's not, you don't solve these things like this. That's also why I didn't want it to close and say, oh, now she loves his children. They're sons of violence. So in a way, it's difficult, but I think the three characters, the three adults, changed a little bit, and their relationship to maternity had another step.
right here.
You spent your 4 years. What role did you play?
So the question is, when she was at the OGAR working and doing the research, what type of work was she doing?
I did cinema workshops for the teen mothers, which was my way to offer something to the places. It was nice because it was an entertainment moment. It was a moment in which they were teenagers, just teenagers. They didn't have to care about their children. The nuns were with the children, and they could watch films and talk about. We also sometimes wrote little scripts and talk about cinema. I always chose films that had to do with their lives, so it was really nice, and it was my way to know them better. So and then they kind of used me as a volunteer, like with children. And I'm also a teacher, so I'm very used to work with teenagers. I love teenagers, so in a way, at the end I was Maura that helps.
Great. Are there other questions? Up there at the top?
There were a few scenes of the roof of the hogar. Fatima brought her newborn there, and Lou, before she left, went there, but we never saw Paula there. Was that, I guess, I saw it symbolically as being vertically closest to God, so some moment of insight occurred when the two mothers went there. What might have Paula realized if she had come there?
Interesting. I worked a lot on spaces. To me, this tower is like the teenagers' desires for a teen life. What's outside, when they are there talking. We also worked on the sound as if they were like on a skyscraper, like this sound that life is elsewhere and you long for it. And also Lou, she goes there to smoke and to dream about her boy. For me, Paula, she doesn't want to go out as the girls, but there is a moment in which this inside breaks. When she begins to break the rule, we begin to see her on the balcony, So she's not outside, but there is this outside that is inside, and I see this path she does on the balcony with the child in the night, as if she was passing from the sacred to the profane. Like she's doing this internal running, but she's still in. She wants to stay in. Also, when we go out with her, we don't really go out. We stay inside her in her big dilemma. So to me, Sister Paula, she wants to stay in, because the love for this child doesn't mean that she doesn't love Christ anymore. It's just that it's impossible for the institution. Whilst the girls, they really have this look outside and this desire. So for me, it was really the girls' place.
Great. I think there was, okay, here, and then we'll go up there.
I was wondering about the title, which is translated as maternal, not as hogar, like home or I was wondering if you are okay with that translation, or did justice to the title that you brought, that you put, or you're limited, or how do you feel about that?
I'm fond to the original. I love the original title. I always thought it was hogar. Also because it's a word I really love. It's a word that exists in Spanish, but not in Italian, for example. You have it in English, the difference between a house, which is a building, and home, which is a place where you feel home. And it's something, it also, looking at my films, it comes back this theme, so it's something that I really... So I wanted the title to be hogar, but then the distributors wanted the film to be more communicative, more direct. And Maternal was a title that, in a way, it works in a lot of languages. Maternal, Maternelle. So I wouldn't have chose it because I don't like to underline things, and I did the whole film trying not to underline. But in a way, I mean, it's their work, marketing, and I don't. It's, and they're doing a good job. So I said, okay, it's okay, and that was a good compromise. But in Argentina, it will be Hogar now. Mhm.
And one more question, there was one up at the top.
I was just gonna make a point. I thought it was a really good scene when Lou's coming down the stairs on her way out, and she pulls off Paola's veil, meaning to say that, you know, you're just like us, so stop pretending. And then I think Paola realized, yeah, I am just like that. That was a good scene. They kind of, you didn't have to point it out to us, but they kind of, in a strange way, sort of bonded. So I knew something was gonna come down the pipe about a child, about giving her the baby back.
Yeah, it's the veil is really. I mean, it's very symbolic in religion, no? And I really like the way she, because Lou is a very direct person. She's not someone who she says she tells you the thing in your face. So in a way, she says like, okay, you're not a nun. I mean, she kind of understands with her feelings that this, like she's doing, like she could be a child's thief in a way. You can also judge her as a thief. So, but to me, as you say, it's important because I wanted to do a film about women. And at the very beginning of the film, when they met for the first time, it seems they come from different planets. I mean, Sister Paula is like a saint, and she's covered, and she's very sure about her decision. And Lou is like, she's going out completely made up, and she's like a rebel. And then when they meet again at the end of the film, when Sister Paula gives the child again back,